So we still have a lot of inventory on the market. There's no disputing that. But when we initially started talking about really high inventory, I was throwing out numbers like we got 80% more than what we do last year. At this time right now, we basically have around 55% more than we did last year. Still a huge number, but we're starting to close that gap a little bit right now as well. Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker, and you know I'm smiling because we got another market update for you. And this one, I don't think is as bad as the last one I did. I mean, it's not all that great either, but it's not bad. And the reason I say that is that I'm starting to see a little bit of shift in the market, which I think is a good sign for a lot of us right now. And just to quickly highlight where some of this inventory is actually sitting, Halton seems to be the one that is sitting with the most amount of inventory compared to last year at 65%. You know, Durham region is basically even with the Toronto Real Estate Board average, which is 55%. Peel is at 45%, Toronto is at 56%, but it's 48% that is more freehold and 60% almost that's condo. And York region is sitting almost at 60% more inventory. So yeah, still a lot of inventory on the market, but like I said, the gap is starting to close compared to what it was last year. And now this also relates to like what is happening in terms of sales, right? So first what I did was I looked at January 1st to July 15th, and I looked at all of the different markets over here. And basically what I've seen is that we're off by about 6.3% in terms of sales in overall in the Toronto Real Estate Board, which equals about, you know, just over 2,600 units. But the cool part about all of this, especially for me, is the area that I represent strongly is Durham region. Durham region year to date is actually up 0.4%. Yeah, I get it. It's only 19 units, but when we look at everything else like that, still better to be up 19 units than down 50, right? So yeah, Durham region year to date is actually doing pretty decent in terms of its sales. Halton again is down about 5%, Peel is down 9%, Toronto overall is down about 7%. But guess what? They're only down 1.7% in their freehold, whereas they're down about almost 11% in condos. And that's no surprise to any of us at this point, I think, right now. And York region is down about 7.6%, which is around just under 600 sales. So in total, we're down about 2,600, just over 2,600 in terms of sales, unit sales. But where I started to say at the beginning of this is I'm starting to see things starting to possibly come around. And I don't know if this is going to be a long-term trend that's sticking around, but it's positive and I'm going to take it, okay? So when I look at the sales from July 1st to July 17th, last year versus this year, I'm going to rhyme it out for you guys quickly. So across the whole Toronto Real Estate Board, we're actually up 2.6%, which is only 75 units, but it's still on a positive trajectory. It's up, right? Durham is up about 1.1%. Halton is down 3.7%. Peel is up 1.7%. Toronto overall is up by 5.6%. That's right, 5.6% Toronto. 16.5% increase in sales over last year in Toronto freehold. Condos are only down 1.5% compared to last year, and York region is up 2.9%. This is almost the first time this year I want to basically say, aside from like January, February, bit of March, that I want to say that now we're actually saying, hey, we're actually up over last year. And I get it. I heard this comment already before that last year was a different year, this is a different year. I get it, but we got to measure metrics from somewhere. And the way I'm looking at it right now, from going from a very high inventory position is start to close the gap compared to what was happening last year, and seeing from the beginning of years where sales were outpacing what was happening in 23. And then when you start to get around like April, May, you start to see the sales declining compared to 23. And now we're starting to see, let's even call it a break even so far in July, but slightly ahead. I think this is a positive sign. Now, we could argue that this is also because of interest rate decreases, and I would probably agree with you guys at the same time. I mean, we saw the decrease in June, which really didn't do a whole lot compared to what I think people were thinking. People thought that when the interest rate comes down, I think things are going to start to fly like crazy, but because of our elevated inventory position, we really didn't see that. But the proof is here in the numbers right now. We are starting to see an upward towards last year. So the interest rate decrease in June helped. The one that we just had in July right now is going to start to help, and it's going to add more confidence, obviously, to the market, nothing that you haven't heard before. And everyone is saying right now, all of the financial institutions, including the Bank of Canada, we can expect rates to come down further at this point as well. So it seems like, you know, it could add a little bit of fuel to the fire now in the housing market. Now, how do I see this moving forward based on seeing a little bit of a turnaround in the market and seeing that the interest rates are going to be coming down? I don't personally think that anything is going to go crazy in terms of pricing. Could be wrong, but I don't think pricing is going to go crazy. I think that when we say market activity is going to pick up, I think the volume is probably going to start to pick up. Also, the interest rate definitely has a factor, but there's another factor of like, okay, how long am I just going to wait around? How long am I going to wait to sell this property that I've been barely able to hold on to? Or how long am I going to wait before I kind of enter the market when the signs are there that things are starting to improve? So I think just based on giving it time, a hold on the market right now, I think we're seeing a bunch of people coming around, and for one reason or another, they're saying, hey, okay, I've waited it out. It seems like this is an opportunity right now and I'm going to run with it. And like I said, the interest rate is actually helping it, but it's also time holding on to things. So I think moving forward, we are going to see some more activity in the market. I think the back half is probably going to be a stronger half than the front half for sure. And as we see the interest rates come down, we might even see a little bit of price appreciation at the same time. And I think we could also probably see maybe a little bit more multiple offers. If you think multiple offers are not happening in the market, you're wrong. Almost every single house that we've listed so far, despite of what the market is right now, we've basically sold it in a multiple offer anyway. So I think that they could intensify. I don't think that they're going to intensify to the point of where you're going to say, I'm going to throw an extra $50,000 down on a house because there's a ton of inventories. You could go around the corner and buy the other house. But I think you might see a little bit more competition for the same house at the same time. If we see a couple of percent increase in price, I want to even say as low as 1% to even 3%. I think that would be a really good sign for the market overall. And then if we obviously see that compounded, and if you believe that that interest or that rate of appreciation can compound for the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's probably going to get your ass moving off of the line and say, hey, this is something I want to do. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy to say, hey, I'm going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on investing in real estate right now. I think we've kind of hit the reset button at this point right now. And maybe real estate is going to appreciate the way that it should have been appreciating, maybe around 3%, 4% or something like that. A normal appreciation, something that's a little bit more stable, because we all know the faster you go up that ladder, the harder you're going to fall down. So now I think we've come to a ground level over here, and maybe we could start to stabilize and start to take small steps forward again. If you guys have any questions about what is going on in the real estate market, I bet you I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to talk to you guys about it, and let's see if we can figure something out. So I encourage you guys to click on the link below to my Calendly, and I'd be happy to set up a 15-20 minute conversation with you, get your perspective on what's going on. I could give you a little bit more of a detailed perspective on what I think is happening specifically in your neighborhood. At the same time, if you guys have liked this video, I encourage you guys to like it, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, I think I have the best content out there as a realtor. So subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, guys, remember one thing: get Kabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.